It's NBA Cup night at the AAC as your Dallas Mavericks look for 5 wins in a row as they host Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies. We preview tonight's game, all coming up here on the Dallas Mavs pregame show. Here we go. Hey, what's up, Dlls Mavs Nation? It's your man, Kevin Gray, alongside Mavericks analyst Bobby Carella. We are Dlls Mavs, your favorite guys covering your favorite team every single game night at Kevin Gray Sports, at Bobby Carella. Later on in our program, Tim Cato, our Mavericks beat writer, will be joining us live from the American Airlines Center. It's NBA Cup night at the AAC as your Mavericks look for 5 in a row as they take on Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies. And before tonight's game, don't forget, we want you to become a diehard member here at DLLS Sports for just $36 that ends tonight. You can become a diehard member here at alldlls.com. Click that diehard button, become a diehard member with us. Just $3 a month. You get a free t-shirt as well at sign up. So make sure you go right now. You can multitask. Go right now to alldlls.com. Click that diehard button and become a diehard member for just $36 right now. And that sale ends tonight. So you got to do it.
There's a link in the description right now.
Link in the description. Go and do it right now. But we really appreciate you joining us here on DLLS Sports. Like, comment, and subscribe while you are here. It is a big night tonight of basketball for your Dallas Mavericks as they look for 5 straight wins, hosting Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies. Your Mavericks, of course, at 13-8, a season high 5 games above 500, 7-3 at home so far this season at the AAC. Welcome in. And equally as hot, Memphis Grizzlies team is 14-7 on the year, 4-4 away from Memphis this year, but they've won 6 straight games. So 2 of the hottest teams, not just in the Western Conference, but in the entire association, getting after it tonight. And also happens to be a division game as well. So a lot on the line tonight as the Mavericks are a 4.5-point favorite. Group C in terms of the Western Conference, West Group C, and the Mavericks, of course, are looking to clinch their spot in the NBA Cup knockout stages as well. So it should be a lot of fun tonight. A lot of star power on the floor. We'll get to who's in and who's out, but to let you know, there's some guys that are on their way back to help out Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Kyrie is one of those guys that's
Kyrie's one of those guys that's back, actually, yes.
Everyone is playing except for Dante and Najee Marshall still out.
That's right.
With that illness. I was thinking, man, everyone is getting so sick. What the heck is going on? And then I looked at their schedule, and again, we've talked about this over the last couple of weeks. Like, they are just playing game, getting on airplane, playing game, getting on airplane. And whenever you're on the road so much, you're having team meetings at the hotel. You're all breathing the same air in the hotel ballrooms and the meeting rooms, on the buses, on the airplanes. So everybody got sick. Basically, Najee, I hope, is the last guy to get sick.
That's right, hopefully.
But the team after tonight is about to go to where it is even colder than it is here, and so we'll see. Maybe more people will get sick. Hopefully not. But yeah, I mean, tonight is a huge game. It's a huge game.
Mavs, of course, 5th in the Western Conference. Have won 4 straight games. They have the 2nd longest current winning streak in the West. They've won 8 of their last 9 games. As we mentioned, a season high 5 games above 500 at 13-8. Of course, the Mavericks are in the middle playing 4 of their 5 games on the road right now, with tonight being their lone home game during that span. They go back on the road for 2 more games on Thursday and Saturday, of course, and they take on the Wizards and the Toronto Raptors. Meanwhile, the Memphis Grizzlies, 3rd in the Western Conference, won 6 straight games. They've got the longest current winning streak in the West right now. They won 7 of their last 8 games themselves. They just swept a 4-game homestand that included wins over the Blazers, Pistons, Pelicans, and Pacers. So a hot team right now. They played 3 of their next 4 games on the road beginning tonight in Dallas. Special note for the Memphis Grizzlies, they had some award-winning done for themselves today as Jalen Wells, of course, the rookie for Memphis, won Western Conference Rookie of the Month, averaging over 12 points per game, shooting 39% from downtown. So someone to watch out for if you're looking for a reserve for them to be able to play well in this game.
I got a lot more guys I'm more worried about than him.
I know.
No disrespect.
I wanted to make sure I stopped on that because there's one guy in particular who knows a little something about the DFW area who loves killing the Mavericks, especially in this building.
Which one? Jeez.
We'll get to him a little bit later on, but let's get to Bobby's scouting report tonight when it comes to the Memphis Grizzlies and their three-point shooting.
Yeah, so Memphis is very, very, very good. I just want to put that out there. They're top 10 in almost every 4-factor stat. They're a top 10 offense. They're a top 10 defense. They have weaknesses. They have holes, but, obviously, who doesn't? Dallas, you're at home, right? And Memphis has struggled a little bit on the road this year, but the Mavs are at home. Whenever you only play one home game at a time, though, and then you go right back on the road, your home game kind of feels like a road game.
Mm-hmm.
And around this time of year, with it being the holidays and stuff, you come home for 1 or 2 days, you got even more stuff to worry about. So it's probably actually more chaotic to come home for 2 days than it is to just stay out on the road. But you got to get past that because Memphis plays chaotic basketball. And you make mistakes, they're going to destroy you in the open floor. They force a lot of turnovers and all that stuff. But Memphis this year, I'm trying to look for patterns. This isn't something that's unique to them, but Memphis as a team is only 35% from beyond the arc, which is actually pretty poor relative to a lot of other teams in the league. But they shoot 38% in wins. They shoot 28% in losses. 28%. Now, they do get a lot of offensive rebounds between Jaren Jackson, who also shoots a lot of threes, Zach Edey, man, they got
Santi Aldama has been rebounding the ball well for them.
They got a lot of size. They got a lot of effective size. They got a lot of athletes up and down their roster. And so, the more long shots you miss, the more chances there are for rebounds. And that's been an issue for the Mavs this season at times. But, if Memphis gets hot from three, and that's specifically Ja Morant, obviously, who's such a terror going downhill that if you have to start worrying about him pulling up from 28, then it's over. Or Jaren Jackson. And we know how much the Mavs have struggled tracking shooting bigs really throughout the J-Kidd era and even beyond that. So that's a big thing to watch out for tonight. That's not the breaking news oh my God, if the other team shoots well, it could. But the Mavs just played the Blazers the other night and they shot 60% and the Mavs still won. So maybe shooting doesn't matter at all, but that's something to keep an eye on. The other thing, Memphis this year, man, so you said what, they've won 6 in a row?
They have.
Yeah. Those games, those wins have come against the Sixers, the Bulls, the Blazers, the Pistons, the Pelicans, and the Pacers. Where on that is an impressive win?
Not really. They've beaten a bunch of bad teams.
Yeah, and before that,
what you need to do if you're going to be a good team.
True. Yeah, you can't control who you play.
Yeah.
But before that, they had lost 3 out of 4. They split a home 2 games in Memphis against the Nuggets, so a baseball series. They split it against Denver. They lost at Golden State. Before that, they lost at the Lakers. This year, the Grizzlies are 14-7 overall. They're 10-3 against losing teams. They are 4-4 against teams that are currently 500 or better. So they've been kind of just fine against good teams, and they've been great against bad teams, much like the Mavs.
Sure.
So this is really kind of I feel like this is sort of a toss-up game. The Mavs are road weary. A bunch of guys have had a hard time breathing apparently the last few days.
Right.
A lot of guys are getting back for their first game after missing some time, and so it's. I don't really know how to feel about this game.
Well, the Mavericks are playing in their final cup game of group play tonight in West Group C. The Mavericks can clinch a wild card spot with a win and losses by Oklahoma City and Portland, or with a win and Dallas winning the tiebreaker over Portland and the second place team in West Group B. Basically, if the Mavericks win, they're in as far as the knockout stages are concerned of the NBA Cup. Bobby started to mention it. A lot of star power on the floor tonight, specifically when you start looking at the return of Kyrie Irving. Obviously, Luka Doncic came back on Sunday, dropped 36 points in 36 minutes against Portland. Ja Morant, interesting note about this game, Ja Morant hasn't played a regular season game in Dallas since October of 2022, or any regular season game versus the Mavericks for that matter. So interesting to see Ja Morant actually playing for Memphis in Dallas, because we haven't seen it in a couple of years. And of course, we mentioned Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving back together. Offensively, they're going to be led by Ja Morant, who this year averaging 21.2 points per game. Jaren Jackson averaging over 22 points per game himself. He, of course, the former NBA Defensive Player of the Year back in 2023. He's getting 6 rebounds per contest and nearly 2 blocks per game and a steal and a half per contest.
Remember that? That was a controversial one. You remember that?
I do remember that. But I mean, in a lot of ways, he did earn it, but at the same time, yeah.
A little bit of home cooking?
Yeah, it might have been.
You won't get that around here, Triple J.
Maybe some fudging of the numbers a little bit, but hey, go look that story up. It's a wild one based off of what he was doing at home versus what he was doing on the road for some of those statistics. But the guy that I was mentioning a little bit earlier, or was going to mention a little bit earlier, who loves terrorizing the Mavericks, especially in this building, former TCU star Desmond Bane. Desmond Bane offensively has gotten after the Mavericks quite a bit over the last couple years, particularly in the last 4 games. He's averaging 30 a game in the last 4 games against Dallas. In fact, in this building alone, the last 2 games that he's played here has had 30 and 32 points at the AAC. So Desmond Bane loves to come home and knock down a bunch of threes and score on his former team, or his backyard team, I should say, when he was here at TCU. So Desmond Bane is definitely one to watch out for.
Yeah, and who's guarding any of these guys?
Well, Klay Thompson's back.
Okay, so
Derek Lively II's back.
Who is guarding Ja in the starting lineup?
I'm gonna go. I think PJ's gonna take his turn.
You think PJ? So then, who's guarding Jaren Jackson?
I mean, that's Lively's responsibility.
Okay, so then who's guarding Brandon Clark, who gets 45 offensive rebounds a game?
I mean, I guess in that case,
who's guarding Bane?
All right, Bobby, I get it.
I'm not
difficult guys to guard.
No, I'm not mashing the panic button or anything, but it's like, one of the advantages of having Grimes in the starting lineup, or Najee before Najee got sick, having those guys in as opposed to Klay or Luka or whoever, Kyrie, whenever he was out, is like, okay, if Grimes is starting, Grimes is on Ja. You don't have to worry about it. I mean, Ja's still going to score a million, but like you're not like, oh my God, what happens if he picks up 2 fouls in the first? Like tonight, it's going to be Klay, Kyrie, and Luka guarding Ja Morant. Like those guys could foul out of the game in the first quarter. Like it's very, very scary, and so he puts a lot of pressure on your defense.
Yeah.
He puts a lot of pressure on your defense, and I think that's a problem that the Mavs have to solve, because not only is it, all right, who's guarding Ja? I think Klay could probably guard Bane, but then you're putting Kyrie on Ja. That's tough.
That's a tough matchup.
It's just tough.
And of course, Ja Morant loves to get downhill and loves to finish at the rim. Bobby started to mention it. The Grizzlies are one of the best teams statistically in the league. Number 2 in points per game this year. Number 3 in rebounds per game. Number 1 in assists, averaging nearly 31 assists per contest. Number 3 in field goal percentage, shooting nearly 49% from the field. Number 5 in offensive rating as well, with a rating of nearly 117. One thing that Memphis does do that's not so great is they turn the ball over quite a bit. In fact, they are 3rd worst in the league this year, committing nearly 17 turnovers per contest. So defensively, the Mavericks can get after them. They had 13 steals against the Portland Trail Blazers on Sunday. Quentin Grimes had 5 of those steals. The Mavericks could potentially turn over Memphis a little bit in this game. Active hands the Mavericks are going to need tonight against this Grizzlies team for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think some of that is probably Ja was out for a long time. Whenever he's been on the floor this year, they turn it over 15.4% of the time, which is a little lower than whenever he's off the floor. Marcus Smart is not playing. Is that right? Is he out or is he playing?
He's playing.
He's playing?
Yeah.
So he comes off the bench. Okay. Whenever Smart's on the floor, they don't turn it over at all. Now, I think that's not surprising, because if he's out there with Ja, that's 2 really good ball handlers. But you want to talk about another guy that kills the Mavs, especially in this building? Marcus Smart.
Flower Mound's own Marcus
That guy has had some huge games. Yeah, and he's from Flower Mound. So, a couple local guys. And Vince Williams has had some really good games. They got a lot of guys.
He's out, though. Vince Williams is out.
Oh,
so he's not playing.
I don't want to make that seem like I'm excited about that.
It's too late. Your real feelings came out.
Yeah,
it's
Luke
okay.
Kennard has had some games, although I think he might be out. I'm not too sure. David Roddy, he doesn't go here anymore. Thank God. But still, like, it's just, man, the Grizzlies are deep. They're a really, really deep team. Scottie Pippen, Jr., not senior.
That's right.
Is Scottie Pippen Sr. is worried about Elon Musk on the Bulls or something? I don't know. He's kind of like, someone needs to check on Scottie Pippen Sr., but Jr.'s doing just fine. He's playing great for them as well. They're good, man. They're a good team.
Speaking of good, your Mavericks have been really good over the last 9 games. Number 1 in points per game, number 4 in field goal percentage, number 4 in three-point field goal percentage, and number 6 in the NBA, collecting over 48 rebounds per contest. A team that's number 4 in offensive rating at nearly 120. And oh, by the way, they're also number 7 in defensive rating at 109. Overall, that makes them a plus 10.8. That's number 2 in the league over the last 9 games, of which the Mavericks have won 8 of their last 9. Mavericks playing their first of 4 games against the Memphis Grizzlies this year. They'll play each other in Memphis on January the 6th. Last year, these 2 teams split the season series 2 games apiece. Interesting note from that, the road team won all 4 games last year in the season series between the Mavericks and the Grizzlies. The Mavericks have lost 5 of the last 7 meetings to Memphis. Prior to that, Dallas had won 9 of the previous 12 meetings against the Grizzlies. So a little bit of
bummer losses against them at home last year. Ja didn't play in either of those games, and the Mavs got smoked twice. Not good. not good. Desmond Bane put on a show in both those games.
Yeah, let's hope he doesn't do that tonight. But it should be a lot of fun in the final NBA Cup game in group stage play as the Mavericks host the Memphis Grizzlies. Mavericks looking for 5 wins in a row. Coming up here in just a moment, Tim Cato live from the American Airlines Center with his news and notes from Jason Kidd's press conference before the game, plus the return of Klay Thompson and others to help out the Mavericks tonight.
But first, hey, it's Cyber Monday. We told you about it at the top of the show, but it is still, even though it's Tuesday, it's still Cyber Monday.
That's right.
Days mean nothing around here at DLLS Sports, but if you want to take your sport for what we're doing one step further, you can scan the QR code right below, click the link in the description. It will take you to a website where for $36, it is probably the best deal AllCITY has ever put out. For $36, you can become a diehard. What is a diehard? Okay, so a diehard is someone that gets access to our entire website, all the written content. A diehard is someone that can join the DLLS Discord lounge and hang out with all the other diehards. You get a discount on future merch. You get a free shirt when you sign up. At $36, that price point, basically like the shirt is almost worth $36. So you're getting all that other stuff just for free, like almost for free.
Sounds good to me.
It is a great deal. And here are some of the people who have signed up since this deal went live. So just today, all right, not even including yesterday, Alan, Travers, Justin, Mike, Brent, Bobby, not me, Randy, Rudy, Aaron, Paula, Jonathan, Tab, Jeremy, Juan. How about shout out to Thomas, Christian, Greg, Patricia, Conrad, Kyle, Ray, Jeff, Keith, Juan, Adam, Matt, Ray, Kaylee, Michael, Corb, Todd, Caleb, Alyssa, David, and let me refresh and make sure I didn't miss anybody's. No, that's it. Whenever you sign up again, you get a promo code for a free shirt. We got more than 35 shirt designs, and you get a discount on all merch. We got mugs, we got flags, we got cups, we got hoodies, we got all sorts of stuff. So if you want to become a diehard, take advantage of this. This deal ends soon.
We got a lot of folks joining us here as well. Make sure you go to alldls.com, hit that diehard button, and become a diehard member here and join our family here at DLLS Sports. Over 130 folks watching us live right now on the pregame show. So shout out to all y'all. Make sure you hit the like button while you are here. Help us beat that algorithm and support us here at DLLS Sports. Let's go out to the American Airlines Center and welcome in our Mavericks beat writer, Tim Cato. You can find him on X at Tim_Cato. Tim, what's going on?
Bobby, did I surprise you?
Oh, no, it's just good to see you, man. Technology.
You seem surprised. Yeah. I surprised myself. I saw myself on camera, and I was like, oh, there I am.
Oh,
there you are. Before we get to Tim's news and notes from Jason Kidd's press conference, let's let you know who's in and who's out for the Memphis Grizzlies and for your Dallas Mavericks. For Memphis, Zach Edey is out tonight. He's dealing with a left ankle sprain. G.G. Jackson is out. He's got a right foot injury. And Vince Williams Jr., he's out. He's dealing with a right ankle sprain. But good news on the injury front for your Dallas Mavericks. Obviously, Dante Exum continues to remain out with his right wrist injury, but Derek Lively II returns after missing the game on Sunday against Portland. He has been dealing with that hyperextended right knee. Klay Thompson is also back tonight for your Dallas Mavericks. He missed the last 4 games due to that left plantar fascia injury. Jason Kidd saying that he's expected to play about 20 minutes tonight against Memphis. Najee Marshall, though, is out as he continues to deal with illness. But Kyrie Irving, not on the injury report today. He is back after resting against Portland as well. So, Tim, pretty much the Mavericks are back to near full strength as they get ready to take on Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies tonight.
Yeah, no Najee. So a lot of liquid IVs for that guy, I guess. I don't know. It's a hell of an illness. Did seem like I spotted Dante Exum on the court without a cast, without a brace on his wrist. So
that's good.
That is progress. That is in development. I don't know, may have been a few days ago, but he's slowly looking more like a basketball player who's nearing a return. And then, everybody else is in as we kind of thought, as we kind of predicted. Again, you can't know the stuff for sure, but with the stakes of a game like this, most important game they've played all season, possibly the most important game they're going to play this entire year, up until the NBA Cup. I mean, it makes sense that everybody's going to really push to get back in the lineup for something like this.
A team in the Mavericks has a chance to advance to the knockout stages of the NBA Cup tournament is a big one tonight at the AAC. What else stood out to you from what Jason Kidd had to say in his pregame press conference comments?
There wasn't much in this one that jumped out to me. I mean, it's just a matter of being aware, the team is aware of the NBA Cup and the implications. And, you got to remember that, $500K on the line it does seem like it's enough to, add just a touch of difference. And so like these guys know going into these games, if the courts weren't enough, they are aware of it going into the games. If they lose tonight, it's not the end of the world. Or, there's scenarios where they win and, but they don't win by enough. And there's like a 30-point win, and the point differential is what edges them out. If this is a tight game, that's absolutely in play. But yeah, I mean, I think it'd be fun. And, certainly a trip down to Houston is a better draw that the team could hope for out of some other games that could be scheduled for them.
I want to add as a little caveat here to what Tim is talking about. The Thunder and the Jazz tip off in like a minute or something. OKC is one of the teams that the Mavs have to worry about in terms of point differential, right? So that game will be about 9 to 10 minutes of game time ahead of the Mavs. So if, let's say, in some world, the Mavs are up like 14 points in the fourth quarter with 2 minutes left, but the Thunder won by 60 or something, you might start seeing guys go bombs away from three. So like the Mavs will have the advantage at least of knowing what they need to do in order to advance.
That's interesting. That could be fun watching this. You just have to jack up a bunch of threes to try to get into the knockout stages of the NBA Cup. Let's get to some of our X factors for tonight's game. Before we do that, actually, let's talk about our Mavericks player spotlight. Let's focus in on Quentin Grimes, who has been really good since being benched in DNP-CD'd against the Denver Nuggets on November 10th. He's played 10 games and is averaging nearly 14 points per game and shooting over 47% from the three-point line, and of course had a season-high 28 points on Sunday against the Portland Trailblazers. Gentlemen, Quentin Grimes has responded extremely well and has played well for this team, and they're going to continue to need that, especially as the Mavericks show how deep they are. But Quentin Grimes, particularly over the last 10 games, has been excellent for this team.
Yeah, this is finally the player that we expected to see, to get, that we were talking up all offseason. He's been that over the past couple weeks. I think that, I tuned in and I heard a little bit of you guys talking on the last segment, and you're like, who's going to guard all these guys? Quentin Grimes, that's a player you can deploy. Obviously, he's not going to be in the starting lineup, but as soon as the team makes a change, that's a player that you're comfortable. I think the team is comfortable deploying on Ja Morant, on Desmond Bane, and that's the two biggest perimeter threats. I think that speaks, I think that's a credit to Quentin Grimes that, we feel, the team feels confident, comfortable with him in those matchups. So I just think that's a good reminder that as good as his offense has been, it's the defense that really stands out to me. The defensive versatility, the defensive competency to guard those players. No, he's not a all defense stopper on that level, but he is a good player who gives you flexibility about to play against those type of guys. And when he's adding, when he's doing that, and also bringing the potential to pop for 20 points or 5 threes or both, that is a pretty nifty player to have coming off your bench. And yeah, just looking forward to him doing more of that.
That gets us to our X factors for tonight's game. A few of them that we'll focus in on as the Mavericks get ready to take on the Grizzlies. By the way, tip off at 7:30. You can watch the game on WFAA Channel 8 and KFAA Channel 29 if you're going to be watching the game on television tonight. So on both channels when it comes to the Mavericks and Mavericks TV. The dynamic duo of the Dallas Mavericks is back together. I'm talking, of course, about Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. Doncic on Sunday playing 36 minutes, getting 36 points, an efficient 15 of 24 from the field. His running mate Kyrie Irving got to rest after playing 19 of the first 20 games. It's going to be fun watching these two back on the floor together. Kyrie off to an all-star start for this team this year, averaging nearly 25 points per game for the Mavericks. Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving going to be front and center for this Mavericks offense tonight, taking on this Memphis Grizzlies tough defense.
I enjoy watching Luka, Kyrie, and Doncic Irving play together, and here we go again. I think I'm not saying anything we don't know, but they bring good things out of each other. And that's a good thing for a basketball team. It feels, I know it's only been, 6 games now, but it feels like it's been a month since I've seen those two play together. I'm looking forward to that.
Luka has, over the years, given especially Jaren Jackson a lot of problems on defense. Feels like every time he goes up against the Grizzlies, back in the Dillon Brooks days, Brooks was getting fouled out, or Jackson was getting fouled out, or both guys were fouling out. So if you can put pressure on the rim against Memphis, they got a lot of size, they got a lot of length, they got a lot of guys that'll get in your face, whatever. But like, you can draw fouls. So I want to see Luka and Kyrie be aggressive. I loved how aggressive Luka was against Portland. He was going to the rim, daring those guys to stop him, and they couldn't. I want to see him do that same thing tonight.
And Luka looked healthy. That was the biggest takeaway I had against the Portland Trailblazers. He looked like the Luka Doncic that we're accustomed to seeing. Hopefully for him, that's a sign of things to come as they take on the Memphis Grizzlies tonight. X factor number 2 for me, and we'll talk about it a little bit here, Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson returns after missing the last 4 games with that plantar fascia injury. Jason Kidd saying pregame that he's expected to play about 20 minutes in tonight's game. How effective do you feel like Klay Thompson can be against Memphis tonight as he comes back after dealing with that foot injury?
I think, if Luka and Kyrie are aggressive, then I think Klay could be really effective. Because it's kind of like the same thing. Okay, so who's going to guard, which Mavs is going to guard which Grizzlies? Desmond Bane going to guard Luka? Like, hell no, dude. Is Ja going to guard Kyrie? Like, absolutely not. Jalen Wells can try his best, but you're going to hide one of those guys on Klay, so then you run Klay off a couple screens. All of a sudden, Ja and Bane can't be too aggressive going around screens because then they're going to pick up fouls. So it's the same thing, and Klay, I think, is better than Jalen Wells. So, the Mavs starting lineup might have the advantage tonight if Klay can come out and make some shots.
Yeah, Jalen Wells has been a delight of a rookie for them. He's been their lead perimeter defender, their lead perimeter stopper, but he's a rookie. And he wasn't even a rookie that came into the draft that was, graded or gauged as defensive stopping, defensive ability as one of his biggest strengths. He's done an admirable job, kind of forced into that role with a lack of other options. But you put up any rookie against Luka Doncic, against Kyrie Irving, and I think Luka genuinely cherishes the moments where he can bamboozle players, where he sees a fresh-blooded rookie who's never had to deal with his bag of tricks. I think that's one of those moments. There's many moments on the basketball court that Luka Doncic enjoys. I think that's got to be up there. That's got to be a top 10 moment for him, when he can just befuddle and bewilder this guy who just has no clue what he's about to get into. So yeah, good luck with that. If you're Memphis, if you're Jalen Wells, it doesn't negate the good season that he's had, and maybe he turns around and drops 30 points, hits all of his threes. Maybe he's as hot as the Portland Trailblazers were. Maybe the whole team is. Maybe Dallas. Maybe there's a curse that's been put against Dallas. But I just think that when you look at it on paper, this is going to be a tricky matchup for both teams to really contain the offensive hubs, where the star power of the opposing teams. And I do like Dallas' chances of doing that a little bit better.
Last one for me when it comes to our X factors for tonight's game, the Mavericks front court has got to be big tonight and got to stay out of foul trouble. Obviously, Derek Lively back in the lineup after missing the game on Sunday against Portland. He and Daniel Gafford have got to be able to remain on the floor. Memphis this year, number 1 in the league in blocks per game at over 7 blocks per game. Daniel Gafford leading the NBA in field goal percentage. Derek Lively right there as well. The Mavericks front court's got to be big tonight and stay out of foul trouble against Memphis.
Dude, it feels like we say this every game, don't we?
But it's true.
Please don't commit fouls.
Yeah.
Please don't do it. We saw last season, it was a couple games where a lot of guys were out, but we saw Dwight play a lot of minutes against the Grizzlies last year at various points because Lively was missing before the Gafford trade and everything. And the Grizzlies would just sag way off of Dwight, and the Mavs tried to compensate for that by using him as a ball handler, kind of a fulcrum at the top of the key. And, you can get into dribble handoff actions and stuff that way, so it's cool. But the Grizzlies are going to try and respect your big men to wall off the rim. Mm-hmm. So first off, can the Mavs get some high-low stuff going with Kyrie cutting underneath and all that stuff? Can the Mavs big men do that on offense to force the Grizzlies to do something? Secondarily, if Jaren Jackson, much like Towns, is going to start putting the ball on the floor, can you contest those shots without fouling? If you get in foul trouble, it could be a very, very long night. So please just be careful.
It feels like it's been a second since we've got a dominant statement Derek Lively game. Tonight feels like a good one.
Tonight, as good as night as any to hopefully get that from the Mavericks starting center. Tim, we appreciate you reporting out at the American Airlines Center, and we'll talk to you post-game after the Mavericks take on the Grizzlies, my man. Thank you.
Bye, Tim.
See y'all then.
That's our Mavericks beat writer Tim Cato live from the American Airlines Center. It is time for Mavericks basketball.
It's time for me to pick up some enchiladas.
As the Dallas Mavericks host the Memphis Grizzlies, a star-studded night at the American Airlines Center. Your Mavericks looking for 5 straight wins and looking to clinch a spot in the NBA Cup knockout stages as well. We'll be back here 15 minutes after the final buzzer here on our postgame show. Our Mavericks beat writer Tim Cato and our national NBA insider Mark Stein will both join us live from the AAC with their news, notes, and thoughts from tonight's game.
Link in the description. Become a diehard. It's ending soon. Do it.
Make sure you become a diehard member here at DLLS Sports. For Bobby Carell, I'm Kevin Gray. We'll talk to you postgame here on DLLS Mavs. Y'all be good. We'll talk to you later. Peace.